What's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. I am going to show you guys, you guys asked for it, and I'm going to show you guys three things uh, regarding Andres Iniesta. The title of this video, Size Does Not Matter. I'm going to show you why. With his spacing, with his movement, and then he actually uses his small size to an advantage. I'm about to show you guys all three of these. But again, if you're taking notes, which you should be, is number one, spacing. Number two, your movement. And then number three, actually using it as an advantage. And that comes from a mental aspect. Using your size as an advantage, whether that be with the referee, whether that be with your quickness. Typically, smaller players tend to be quicker, not faster, quicker in tighter spaces with the low center of gravity. Make sure you're using that and have that mentality that this is an advantage, not a disadvantage. As soon as you think you're at a disadvantage, you've lost. So without further ado, let's get into it. As you guys can see right here, Andres Iniesta is right here. He's next to a defender, right? He's next to a defender. If you go 50-50 with the defender, whether he's bigger, stronger, faster, whatever, if you go 50-50 with a defender, you're leaving it up to chance. 50-50. You're leaving it up to chance. Am I going to win this battle or am I going to lose this battle? It's 50-50. He could win, you could win. But you don't want to be in those situations. You want to be in situations where it's 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, right? And watch what he does here. Right off the bat, look what he does in order to get away from his defender. Does he run away? Does he run into, whether it be, does he run into this space? Does he run into this space? Does he run over here? Does he come back? We'll see. But these are all options that you can use to get more space. The key, guys, the key, and the reason I do all this video stuff is to get you guys more space. Once you have more space, you can do the things that you're good at. You can use your strengths. If you're new to my content, make sure that you guys check out, previous videos where I talk about listing your strengths. If you list your three strengths, these are the things that you need to cultivate and work on even more. Not your weaknesses, not your left foot, because if you're right-footed, whatever. Messi's left-footed. We all can agree that he is very left-footed. He doesn't really need to work on his right a ton. Yes, we all need to work on some things a couple of times a week, whatever, make sure we keep it strong. But you should be focusing on making your strengths into superpowers, making your strengths into things that cause the other team pressure, cause the other team to panic. These are things that you need to be working on. So I digress, but let's focus right here. What does he do? What does he do to get out of the situation? You'll see it right here. Boom, he's side by side with the defender, a place he does not want to be because he's smaller than him. Or this is all about size. He's smaller than him. What does he need to do? And you can actually see Messi doing it out here. That space, that separation, that's what you want. You're looking for space. You're not looking for the ball. You're looking for space. And the way you get space is through movement. Watch. Boom. He stops. Simple as that. He stops. You guys have to understand what defenses are thinking, what defenders are thinking. It's easy for me to talk here about forwards and about outside backs and about center mids because I've been a center mid, I've been a center back, and I've been an outside back. If I'm those, I know what I'm not looking for from a forward or from a winger. So it's easy for me to tell you guys what to do because it makes my life more difficult. If you guys do these things, it makes my life more difficult, which means that you guys have more success, right? So he doesn't run forward. All those things that I said, he doesn't do this. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He stops. He doesn't move. He doesn't move. And again, the reason that he does this is what happens when the ball's here. What does a defender do? Gets behind the ball, 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 gets behind the ball. Everyone gets behind the ball. As they're doing that, if he just stops in this spot right here, what happens? They all run past him, and then he has space. He has all this space now. Watch this again. And guys, when I do video, I've just shown you a 3-second clip. These are things that you can learn. 3-second clip, and you've already learned something new. You don't have to, when I talk about movement, not moving is also a movement. Not moving is also a movement. Watch this again. Watch this again. And watch how he does this. Watch how he does this. How does he get space? Boom, you see him right there. You see him right there. Very easy to track. Very easy to track from the defender. He's right here. He just steps to him. Very easy to track. But you also have to understand what defenders are doing. He's going this way. Look at where they're facing. Look at where they're facing. They're all facing this way. So where should you go? Here. If you want to get space, you should go the opposite way of everyone else. Watch. As everyone's moving, look, they're moving. He just stops running. He just stops running. Not moving is a movement. Not moving is a movement. This is part of it. You want to get spacing, you have to move. Not moving is also a movement. If everyone's running this way and I stop, if I'm here and everyone's here and I just stand here and everyone goes here, I'm now open. I'm now open. So guys, get it out of your head that I have to run all over the place in order to get the ball. Sometimes you just stop running. Sometimes you just stand there and they'll run past you. Look, they're just standing there. They're just standing there. And now they're moving the ball. Now they're moving the ball. And as we know, Barcelona is a very small team. They've been historically a very small team, right? Other than their center back. Even Puyol was only 6 foot, right? So they're typically a small team. So what do they do as a whole team? Their spacing is good, their movement is good, and they use their size to their advantage, not their disadvantage, right? So you guys need to reframe your whole thinking. Reframe your whole thinking into these 3 things. If you're a smaller player, even if you're not a smaller player, you should be doing these 3 things. But if you're a small player, start focusing more on your spacing. Start focusing more on your movement to create space, and then focus on using it as an advantage. Whether that is using the referee, getting more fouls because you're smaller, getting in front of someone so that they push you down, like using it as an advantage. Find it as an advantage. If you're slower than someone else, figure out how to move and use your body to your advantage. If you're a defender, getting your body in front so then you can be first to the ball. Different things, guys. You have to be. If you're not using this as an advantage and you look at this as a disadvantage, just quit. Just quit. Because if you look at these things as disadvantages, you've already lost, right? You've already lost. So you got to understand these things that like look at these different players. Look at Xavi. Look at Iniesta. Look at Messi. Look at David Villa. All these guys are undersized, right? But they find ways to be successful. They find ways to get the edge over you. They're looking for the edge. They're not looking for excuses of why they're too small, right? So I want to give you guys a little bit more video because, although I am spitting gyms, this is still something you guys can get something out of video-wise. I mean, here's a great example of the opposite, right? Here's a great example of the opposite. So the ball comes back to Abidal. He's not in a good spot, right? He's not in a good spot. He knows he's not in a good spot. You can tell because he gets the ball off balance. He knows he's not in a good spot. He's not ready for the ball necessarily. He's expecting Abidal to play it out wide, right? But he's not in a good spot. So he plays it in here. He's off balance. What does he do? He plays it back because he's not in a good spot. Some of you guys still try to dribble when you're not in a good spot. Spacing's not there. Movement's not there. So what does he have to do? He has to play it back, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Play it back. Get your rhythm back. Get where you're supposed to be, right? If you're not in a good spot, don't try to dribble. Find a way out and then move again, right? So this is a huge lesson. This is the opposite, right? This is the dark side of it, right? So if you're not in a good space, if you didn't move, and you're not in a place of advantage in this situation, it's 3v2, right? It's 3v2. Many times Barcelona tries to overload a side so they can have 3v1, 3v2, right? 4v3, whatever it is. In this case, it's not. They have 1, 2, 3. They have a triangle around Iniesta right now. Not a great spot to be in. He only has 1 pass back, right? So see what he does here? Watch. Boom. Look, he's off balance. He's off balance, and he plays a very, very simple ball. He doesn't try to play it in here. He doesn't try to play it in here. He doesn't try to play it here. He doesn't try to play it around the corner. He doesn't try to play it over here. Very, very simple pass, and you'll see what he does after. Very simple pass. See what he does after. He plays it. Now what does he do? He moves out. He moves. He gets away from the ball to give Abidal space. Some of you guys, and I'll do another video on this. You guys run to the ball. You guys run to the ball, but sometimes the space, like on an airplane, when they say the nearest exit might be behind you, right? So sometimes when you're playing, the nearest way, the easiest way to get out of a situation is to get away from the ball. Okay, guys, I really appreciate you watching this video. Again, those 3 things are making sure that you find good space, find spacing. Second is make sure that your movement is good. So in order to find space, you must have movement. And then the last one is always look at it as an advantage. How can I make this an advantage and stop looking at it as a disadvantage? Okay, guys, I really appreciate it. If you guys are ever interested in a one-on-one coaching call with me, make sure that you DM me or leave a comment and I'll get back to you guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you give this a video a like. If you enjoy this, I'll keep doing these videos. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.